Let's go ahead and start with Jeff Brown. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, coach. First, with Nika Muhl's situation, I can only imagine that's super frustrating for her. What kind of words are you kind of talking with her about during this time?
Yeah, stay patient. Just continue to focus on her day-to-day processes, on this team as a rookie. Whether it's game, practice, shoot around, just kind of keep the focus on what's in front of her, being where her feet are. And that is, the day-to-day. So not worrying about, anything else but the basketball at the moment.
Cool. And then in the second half of the last game against Minnesota, I felt like they really were like clogging the paint and sending kind of double teams to the ball or just really clogging. What are kind of the keys to being able to counter that?
Yeah, we talked a lot about our spacing. A lot of the clogging came on the catch, and so there's like six sets of hands in there, and being very just strong with the ball, but also our spacing principles, not getting uh too clogged as they're clogged. The other thing that happened as well is the ball didn't move enough, and so the ability to clog is easier when the ball's staying on one side of the floor. So a couple of things that have happened that were happening to create such tight paint. We addressed that in practice, and hopefully we're mindful about our spacing today.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Masvita, go ahead, Mas.
Yep. Hey, Coach. A couple things just on the aggressiveness was an issue last game. I mean, I think you pointed that out. What's the messaging around that, and yet not being too aggressive and staying within your game plan and execution?
We have to get the ball moving. Point blank, period. We didn't have a lot of instances of where the ball got to the second side and not a lot of third side touches. There are a couple of clips where, we had some good ball movement. The ball touched the paint, we kicked it, it touched the paint again, and we got a layup. So just living in that space of knowing that Minnesota is going to deny reversals, take away your first options. But in order to get cleaner looks, we have to make sure the ball is moving.
And then I think Nika, the player, talked about just really not overthinking stuff in this game, that everybody was almost too nice to a certain, trying to be nice to each other. But how much is that critical to this game? Is just that dog mentality. If you get the open lane, get it and let's go.
Yeah, it's huge. It's especially critical in the first 5 minutes of it to establish a tone. I don't think we established our tone defensively, though offensively we were fine in that first quarter. We were not into bodies. We were not as physical as they were. And over the course of the game, they became more physical than us. So it starts with that mentality from jump. Offensively, if we get in transition, if you look at our numbers, transition, we got a ton of looks, but we were low in our PPP. So just knowing that when we do have opportunities when their defense is not set, to take those aggressively, but concentrate on our finishes.
And then one more just on the spacing, going back to that. Do you need your guards to stay when they pass the ball? Are they going too close to the ball, or you need to step back so they get the ball to swing it around? What is that spacing like in that specific instance?
Yeah, staying space, and not only our guards but our post players as well. I know that we have an excellent post player in Neka, and Sadie's has some good post moments as well. But especially when the ball gets moving, there are instances of where our spacing kind of shrinks as well. So it is on the guards. If we get downhill, get to the paint and find good opportunities to spray, but also making sure we continue to keep our alignment with our spacing there.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mas. Roy Gator, go ahead, Roy.
Hi there. Oh, I am on my old school my fun background. Let me go to normal. But to start off, I'm interested in the yes, you could say hi to my puppet friends and trying to pull a prank on some coworkers. But when you're in a back-to-back like this, where you have a home and home with Minnesota, like how do you adjust to the to being able to play the same team twice, knowing that they have the same ability to analyze what you're doing? Like, how do you make sure you're not caught out by that?
Yeah, I like the fact that we have this game, right? Especially with this team who is new and still learning each other, our system, to correct it immediately. So to watch film, to practice, to get opportunity to adjust. Obviously, Minnesota may or may not make adjustments. They won the game. But we are going to be ready to adjust to their adjustments as well. But the opportunity to have a practice is huge for a team like this because we haven't spent much time together. And because of that, we can adjust it on the floor. They get reps of it, they get a feel of it, and hopefully the retention can translate to the court.
And then kind of related to that, I know on our Ion pregame show they were talking about just being able to find open looks for Jewel and sort of giving her the best opportunities, especially coming off last game, rough shooting night for her. Like, how do you make sure that you guys are putting her in the best position possible to get the best looks that she can?
Yeah, I mean, she got 19 shots. And so Jewel's going to continue to get touches. She's going to continue to get the ball a lot. It's a twofold, understanding that, Minnesota's defensive plan is to be aggressive and physical with her. So, to get the ball movement and get it back on the backside can free her up a little bit more. Obviously, we're adjusting today to create some cleaner looks for her. But at the end of the day, she got some good touches and some good looks. And I think today those are going to be finishes.
And then just the last one that I had was just thinking about, Alana Smith being there on the defensive end. She can do so much. Like, how are you preparing for, for her as a matchup for you guys offensively?
Yeah, Nika scored 20 points and Ezzy scored 15. And their bigs did a tremendous job as well. We know it's going to be a battle. We are going to adjust to their defensive scheme and strategy. And as the game flows and as they adjust, we will do that. We have to match her physicality. We have to match or exceed her energy. We have to flush her at the 3-point line. Last game, we were checking her temperature a little bit. We know she passed the temperature check. We have to get to her at the 3-point line a little bit more. And our ball screen defense was not sharp. And so it allowed us to be in scramble mode as opposed to being consistent in our schemes and taking care of the initial action. So that would be much cleaner today. And hopefully she doesn't get as many clean looks as she did last game.
All right. Thank you. And we'll see what Zoom background I have for you next time.
All right. Thanks. All right. Christian, go ahead, and then Robert.
Hey, Coach, hope you're doing well. How was the journey to Minnesota this week?
It was cool. Got some rest, flew in, had an opportunity to practice, and I saw some family. I have family here. I have a godchild here, so it's been good, actually. Thanks.
That's nice. I'm glad you had that time. I feel like we've touched on what the team needs to work on, extensively throughout these last couple of days. I was just wondering, did you see anything throughout the first 4 quarters of that game that the team built it on during that practice that you guys had?
Yes, our mentality was one. We've talked about X's and O's tremendously, and we know what we have to adjust to, but just our mentality. When adversity hits, being mindful of staying connected, being mindful of continuing to lead and talk and communicate on the court in those instances. The other is our defensive mentality, getting into bodies, being physical. We weren't that way consistently for the entire 4 quarters, and they held each other accountable to that, looking at it on film and speaking on it. And so today I feel like there's going to be a shift on that end of the floor. And then offensively, our adjustments that we're going to make to kind of neutralize their defensive, physicality as well.
And one more, if I can. Jordan had a great game coming off ankle surgery. She was kind of everywhere. She was initiating contact. I mean, she had a couple offensive rebounds for putbacks as well. Is the game plan still for her to come off the bench today and Victoria to start?
Well, she didn't have ankle surgery, that's first. But I like what she provides to the game from the position that she's in at that six woman position right now. She is able to, as a young player in this league, watch the game and understand coverages, make sure she's mindful of that. And when she's in the game, she's sharper, as opposed to you know, what happens when you start the game as far as your preparation. So I like where she's at right now. I like what she provided to the game, and she's still young and growing. And we will see what happens over the course of the season. But for today, the rotation remains the same.
Thank you, Christian and Roberta. Wrap us up.
Hi, Coach. Just going back to Nika's situation. I know this is something that is mostly out of anyone's control, but do you have an estimate? What do you know if the process is moving to be ready soon? And how do you think that's going to impact players in the future in case of Toronto expansion?
Right now, the visa is still in the pending approval process. So we'll have more information later on. As far as just timing and detail, we don't have that information or specifics right now. But what we do know is that we have a game tonight. We're focusing on that tonight, and she's been great. You know, her positive attitude and understanding of the situation. Obviously, it's tough, but at the end of the day, she's here with us and focused on this game as well.
And you mentioned now, there's a game tonight, and a lot has been talked about how is Nika feeling. What about the rest of the team and you? Because start of the season, there's already a lot of moving pieces, but that's definitely an unexpected moving piece. So how has the team been dealing with all of that change and you as a coach?
I think we're being very positive because we know at some point we have to control our controllables. It's out of our hands as coaches and players. And so we're putting all of our energy and efforts into focusing on how we can get better day to day as a team. We have an amazing group of women who understand what it means to be great teammates, understand what it means to be pros, and understands that we have a rookie on our team going through something that really isn't ideal. But at the end of the day, next woman up mentality, continue to work hard and grow as a team. We have so many things that we need to work on. The season is new, not a lot of time to like in training camp and all of those things. So we're kind of hyper focused on how we can get better as a group on the court. But they've been amazing.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck tonight.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, everybody. See you best game.
Oh.